NPHET will next week issue advice to government on the planned reopening of the country, which of course is planned for the 5th of July, where we're hopefully going to have indoor dining and indoor drinking and all that goes with that. Now, according to today's news, government sources have said that it would be close to impossible to reject health advice if public health experts recommend a delay to some or all of the planned reopening measures, which are due to take place on the 5th of July. And that has angered a lot of you. And I want to hear from you this morning. Send us a WhatsApp now on 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. And it's a very simple question. Should the planned reopening of the country, which is due to take place on the 5th of July, should that be delayed? Okay, so, by Monday week, you would like to think we could be all sitting in restaurants and sitting in pubs, having drinks and having food and getting stuff back to as normal as possible. But of course, with the Delta variant now well and truly in Ireland, the worry from NPHET is that we may have to delay the reopening of the country. Now, the number of people in hospital with COVID at the moment, I think it's dropped to 36. It's a very low number. And what's annoying people, and what's probably annoying you, is that the thoughts of still having lockdown measures in place when we only have 36 people in hospital with COVID seems absolutely OTT. Now, the Journal took a poll today, asking people if they agree with the delaying of the reopening of the country. And I want to do a similar poll right now to find out how you feel about this. So get your phone out, okay? Get your WhatsApp now. And WhatsApp is a simple yes or no. Here is the question, okay? And I want you to think about this very carefully. Should we delay the reopening of Ireland that is due to take place on the 5th of July? Yes or no to that number there, 085 825 2626. Simple question. Should we delay the planned reopening of the country on the 5th of July? Maybe move it a couple more weeks down the line to see how this Delta variant, because we've been told by health experts that the Delta variant is more transmissible. It's a more transmissible strain than the previous strain of COVID. So should we delay the reopening of the country? Now, I know what that means for a lot of people who may have meals booked or may have, house parties booked or may have communions or confirmations or want to go out for a meal, whatever the case may be. I'd like to hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp. Yes or no to 085 825 2626. Now, we don't know just yet. Are NPHET going to recommend that the government reopens or that they delay the reopen? We don't know what they're going to do with that regard. But knowing the way they do things, they always throw caution to the wind, and they're cautious about things reopening. So, yes or no to 085 825 2626. Should we delay the reopening of the country? Here is Darren.
Morning, Jeremy. I personally think this is an absolutely farcical decision. Do we have anyone who will stand up for us and question the government and NPHET on this? Where is the scientific evidence that has led to this decision? I mean, it looks like we are the only country going backwards. Many other countries have the so-called Delta variant but are still fully opened. Just look at the Euro matches over the past couple of weeks, packed stadiums. Look at the UK, they've thousands of Delta cases, but yet they've indoor dining, indoor pubs. They'll have 140,000 at the British Grand Prix, 60,000 at the Euro semi-final and final, and a capacity crowd for Wimbledon final. Meanwhile, in Ireland, we're talking about maybe a couple of thousand in Croke Park, maybe this, maybe that. Something is definitely not right. The hospitals are emptying out, cases are going down, and the vaccinations are ramping up all the time. Yet we still continue to delay everything. Something needs to be done about this before NPHET and Tony well and truly destroy what's left of this country and the economy. Cheers, Darren.
That's a great message, Darren. And this is something and I respect Neffet, I really do, and I respect Dr. Tony Houlihan, but also I'm very conscious, and I've been saying this from day one, I'm very conscious as well that all the experts in Neffet have not lost a penny in wages since this whole COVID came along. You know, they're not affected. You know, Tony Houlihan doesn't own a restaurant. He's not employing restaurant staff. He's not worrying about, is he going to have food in? Is he going to have to employ chefs? When is the restaurant reopening? So it's very easy for people to give advice when they're not affected by it. And I get the job of Dr. Tony Houlihan and of Neffet, that their job is to give medical advice. And I don't want to be the prophet of doom and gloom here, but I believe that they may recommend that the reopening is delayed, and that's just going to create a lot of anger. Now, let me go to Morris. Morris, you're on Opinions Matter. How are you? Hello, Morris? Sorry, you there? Oh, there you are, Morris. Now, what do you want to say about this?
Sorry. Yeah, I think, look, we've listened to the experts up to now, and, you know, as the dates get closer, I think the risks are getting a bit more iffy. You know, what price do you put on a life? Look, I'm at a centre here now in Dublin 15 with my special needs son, and he's getting his second jab. I've kept him safe since all this started, and my wife and my other son and myself. I'll probably get my jab in a week or so. Do I want to risk going out for the sake of a couple of points and a burger or chips for the sake of eating out? Now, I'm watching people eating out and having drinks, and it's like a cattle market.
Yeah,
but
Morris, but Morris, with the greatest of respect, and I'm delighted, by the way, he's getting a second job today. But with the greatest of respect, Morris, you know, if you don't feel safe going back out into a restaurant and having a meal next weekend, then don't. Then stay at home. But there's lots of people.
Exactly.
But there's lots of people who do feel safe going to a restaurant, isn't there?
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. It's up to personal choice, right? But I'll give you one incident that I have. I have a relative working in the health service in England, the NHS.
Yes.
Right, and he's told me, he's married to my daughter, it's my son-in-law, and he said it's running rampant over there in certain areas. They're closing areas down. Now, I'm not scaremongering. I'm only telling you what I'm being told by somebody that's on the front line over there. That's all. You know, there's 57 million people over there, right? What have we got here? 4.5 million?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the figures from the UK, and again, it's not, this news is only broken actually in the last few minutes, and it says Delta cases rise in the UK by 46% in a week.
Well, I'm just repeating what I've been told by my son-in-law who works in the NHS over there. So he's trying to protect my daughter and his 2 children, my 2 grandchildren.
Okay, do you think we should delay?
I've watched people out and about. Yeah, if the government are happy with what the medical advice that they're getting, but at the end of the day, Jeremy, you know at the very beginning of this, a lot of people in their golden years lost their lives through negligence, right? And we're going to have a authority into it. And heads will roll for this. We don't want that happening again to either young people or old people. So I'd say to them, put the people first and let people make up their own mind. Don't be a sheep, be a wolf. Go with what you want to go with yourself. So if something goes wrong, you've only you to blame. And don't be pointing the finger at the people you think are to blame.
Yeah, and I think at this point, you know, we've 61% of the Irish population who are partially vaccinated. 61%. Me being one of them, you probably being another. And, you know, the way I look at it is, what is the point in getting this vaccine if we're going to still worry about going to restaurants and go? I mean, we need to get on with our lives. We need to get on with our lives. Yeah. And you know, an interesting point I saw somebody making there the other day. They were like, you know, I got the measles vaccine when I was a kid. I didn't spend the next 40 years of my life worrying about whether I'm not going to get measles. You know what I mean? So people,
I understand.
Yeah, when people get a vaccine, it's supposed to give them a bit of comfort and a bit of you know, sort of, okay, I can get back to doing something, and if that means just going out for a meal, then so be it. So you think, because I have to be honest with you, I would imagine, now maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to call it and say that Neffet will advise to delay the reopening of the 5th. Until they discover, you know, how this Delta variant is actually operating within our community.
Well, the way my family member described it, Jeremy, from the NHS in England, I said, Joe, what's happening with the Delta? He said, it's like headlights. It's going from one to the other. It's just happened. It's going everywhere. Now, he told me about a certain area in London, or not up in London, up in Bradford, where all the curry places are, in Oldham. It's rampant up there. It's in the community, and they're closing down estates up there, he told me, and going in and putting up tents and testing people and isolating them.
Yeah.
So if it's in people travelling into the north, down the south, whatever. Already Donegal is peaking and Drogheda is peaking.
It is scary, and thanks very much for your call, and the best of luck with your son getting the second jab today. I'd like to hear from you. 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Darren. There you are,
Hello.
Darren. How are you? Now, I played your message a few moments ago. You are frustrated at even the thoughts of us delaying the reopening of the country.
I can't believe it. I can't believe there's even talks about this yet again. It's like you just can't wait to close the country down. Just people's hopes get back up. We get back out. It's like, Delta variant, it's getting out of control again. We may have to lock you all back down, lads. Like, no, enough's enough. 60-something%, like you just said, is vaccinated. If you're afraid,
61% of the country has had one jab. 31% are now fully vaccinated. So 1/3 of the country are fully vaccinated. 2/3 pretty much have had at least one jab. So we're in, as regards to the vaccine rollout, we've really caught up with the rest of Europe, and we're doing quite well. So you think that is enough to warrant opening the rest of the country and having indoor dining?
absolutely. I think we're scared to do this. People just don't want to get the vaccine as well, and that's fair enough. They don't want to get it. That's their own decision. They shouldn't be shamed because they don't want to get it, just as well as some people who really want to get it. They shouldn't be shamed either. But the fact of the matter is, we can't not be talking about going backwards again. There's 13 people in ICU of a population of nearly 5 million. How can the country not cope with that? Like, I'm sure there's people that are way sicker right now than people that have COVID nationally. If you put everyone all together, there's people that are sick of other illnesses. There's thousands of cancer screens that are going missing. There's thousands of domestic abuse calls being missed all because of the lockdown.
Darren, I get your frustration, and people are saying there's 13 patients in ICU at the moment with COVID, 36 people in hospital. The number is minimal, and I think that's why people are annoyed. The thoughts of locking down the country with just 36 people in hospital.
Absolutely, look, it can't happen. 30 in hospital because of COVID. No, I'm sure there's people out there right now that are sick of from everything right now, like asthma or stuff, or pollen or allergies or something. There's people out there that are sick from other things. More people sick from other things than COVID. Absolutely no. I understand COVID's there. It's dangerous. It can hurt people and kill people. We cannot be talking about going backwards and locking down.
Okay, but the worry, sorry if you're going across your worry, Darren, the worry is that this Delta variant is more transmissible than the previous variant or the previous strain of COVID. And if that's passing from person to person like head lice jumping from a head to another head, and we won't know about this for another 2.5 weeks, we don't want the figures back up to where they were in January, do we?
Absolutely not. In January, even before that, they were like 1,000 at one stage, which is very, very high. But I think, again, though, we have a population of 5 million people. And if every day there's, 200 or 300 people being said that they have COVID, that doesn't necessarily mean they're sick. It means they just have COVID. They mightn't have any symptoms. There might be one person every day going into hospital. That's still not bad, in my opinion. Just it shouldn't be case numbers we're looking at. It should be people who are sick and in hospital.
Yeah, I think so. And that was the reason behind lockdowns, was so that the hospital, the HSE, could cope with the demand, and that we didn't have, thousands of people arriving on our hospitals and putting the strain on our health service. So you would like to see Monday week, 5th of July, you would like to see all steam ahead, open the doors for the pubs, the restaurants, the whole lot. I'm
booked into 3 restaurants and I'll be going. It's an absolute joke.
Well, you'll only be going if it's open.
Yeah, I know, and that's the saddest thing about it. That's the reality of it. But let me tell you this, right? There's women, there's men out there that was shaming and giving out to people who are getting their haircuts cut over lockdown, right? Saying it's dangerous, you shouldn't be doing it. But they were the very ones that couldn't wait to stand in the queue to go to their hairdresser, get their hair done, their nails done, their tan done, whatever done. But yet they said, last week now, what's the safe? But this week they're all open, so I'll go. What's the difference? How is it any safer next week than it was this week?
Fair play to you. Thanks very much for your call. Darren, I'd like to hear from you. There is the number, 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Interestingly, I was talking to a hairdresser the other day, and she was telling me that I was asking her, have you been busy since you reopened? And she was saying it was nothing like the first reopen. Remember, after the first lockdown. And she was saying a lot of her clients didn't come to her this time when she reopened because they had been getting their hair done in the house by hairdressers going into the house. And I think during that lockdown number 3, people did not treat lockdown number 3 the way they treated lockdown number 1 and number 2. People are now at the end of their tether. They are just fed up. They want to be able to do all these things. I want to be able to sit in and have a coffee. Met a friend of mine yesterday, Peter, and we met in town, and the idea was we'd meet in town and we'd get a coffee and a sandwich or whatever and have a chat, and met him in Stephen's Green, and we're like, let's go for a coffee and let's sit down and have it. And then we just remembered we can't even sit down in Insomnia or Starbucks. We can't even sit down inside and have a coffee. It's just the simple little things that you're still being denied. Anyway, I'd like to hear from you. 085 825 2626. It's a simple question. Should we delay the reopening of the country on the 5th of July? And by the way, before you start getting angry with me on Facebook, I am not saying that we should. I think we should reopen, and let's just see how this Delta variant plays out. None of us want to go into another lockdown. Even the word lockdown sends shivers down our spine. None of us want this. But I think we should reopen and see how it goes. But they need to make a decision soon, because food has to be ordered for restaurants. Staff have to be told that they're working. Chefs have to be pulled in. Let's have a listen to Connor.
Jeremy, to be perfectly honest with you, there's going to be variants thrown up all over the place over the next few years, I would imagine. We've restricted our lives for long enough at this stage, and people vaccinated, even if it's just, against this variant, say the AstraZeneca, I don't know what the figure is, but say it's only 30% effective, or whatever words that they use, it's still giving us some sort of protection. We can't carry on for much longer. People have to start getting back to work. We can't afford to be paying out pup. And to be perfectly honest with you, mentally we can't afford to keep doing this. This has gone on for, we're pushing on for a year and a half now at this stage, and I think we just have to get on with our lives. And if you want to protect yourself and restrict yourself a little bit, then fair enough. But until figures start rising in hospitals and stuff like that, I don't think it's really a conversation. We have to get back to normal.
It does seem bizarre that we would be having this conversation, and as I said, 36 people in hospital with COVID, 13 in ICU. 61% of the country vaccinated, 61% of the country have had one jab. I'd be in that 61%. 31% fully vaccinated. Adrian is in that cohort, of course. Now, Niamh, you started a new job a month ago, and this may affect you, will it?
I haven't even been able to start. I got the job a month and a half ago. I haven't been able to start. It's just devastating to hear this. I mean, it's not, for me personally, I have no problem. More power to people going out for meals and everything. I'm delighted for them. For me, I just want to work. That's all.
And sorry, how is this? How are you not able to go into work? What type of job is it that you can't go into work because of this?
It's in the entertainment. It's like a little casino, so they're shut. They're not allowed to open. They're in with the pubs and indoor dining. They're for some reason lumped in with that.
Now, hang on, that's actually bizarre. That casinos are closed, but betting shops are open. I walked by a betting shop the other day, and it was open.
I wonder, is that because I thought that the same? Believe me, I had that thought, but then I was thinking, are betting shops not allowing people to hang around where I would be? Obviously, people be coming in, sitting down, playing machines and stuff, so they could be there for hours. So maybe that's it.
Well, people stay in bookie shops for hours as well. Let's stay there for a second. Let me put that out to our audience. Does anybody know? I'll try and find out. Casey, actually, can you try and find out as well why casinos are closed? And
is it anything to do with the sale of alcohol? Casinos sell alcohol, don't they?
I don't.
So I would imagine that's what it is.
Niamh, do casinos sell alcohol?
No, absolutely not. No,
they
it's
don't.
Tea and coffee only.
Yeah.
Oh.
The ones in America do. They give you loads of alcohol, but not here.
Okay, yeah.
They have to have a license.
Okay, we'll put Katie on that job there and try and find out why casinos are closed, because that kind of doesn't make sense, how casinos are closed, but bookie shops are open again, because when you're in a casino, you're not sitting on top of another person. But anyway, getting back to the 5th of July reopening, you think it needs to go ahead?
Well, I hope it does. I really do. I hope it does. I mean, for a lot of people, it's about going out and socialising, and that's brilliant. I'd like to go out myself, but for the vast majority of people involved in this, it's just devastating for them to be sitting down watching this last night like I did. And yet again, it's the confusion. This is what's bugging me more than anything. If they want to do it, tell us, because at least then, people will know. But telling pubs, I'm not so bad because it could open at a minute's notice, but a pub or, getting, as you said, chefs, food, drink, people just can't go on like this. And I am a denier. I believe COVID is out there. I've had my jab. I've done everything I was asked to do. But for 34 people in hospital, I hope they get better. But it seems out of a country of 5 million, it seems that we are completely overreacting at this stage. We're supposed to be living with COVID. When does that start?
Yeah,
when do we actually start living with it?
And it's like I said a few minutes ago. I got the measles vaccine when I was a kid. My parents brought me and got the measles vaccine. They didn't stop me living after I got the measles vaccine. I didn't spend the last 40 years worrying, am I going to get measles? You just get on with your life, and
what you said was true, and I said exactly the same thing last night. It's bizarre. You said it, about the vaccine. I actually turned around to my partner and said, look, I'm glad I got it, but why did I bother? If we're just going to keep getting locked down and told no, why are they even immunising us?
Now,
what are we getting immunised against?
Yeah, as it stands, we're just guessing about what's going to happen on the 5th of July. NPHET will advise the government next week. If I were a betting man and I was in your casino now, I'd be betting a fair few quid on NPHET delaying the reopening.
Yeah.
I think
and we'd be losing our house on you. Yeah, you're right. Because you're right. I think we'd lose the house on that bet. Yeah.
I think because of the Delta variant and because NPHET are obviously looking at what's happening in the UK, where the figures are going up in the UK, I suppose what they don't want to do is they don't want to reopen the pubs and the restaurants only to have to tell them to close again.
But if the pubs and restaurants were open, then we wouldn't have had what happened in Dublin and other parts of the country, which probably was a bit of a spreader event. Let's be totally honest about it. If it's been spread among the younger people, they probably did spread it a little bit. So if the pubs had been open, the people could have been controlled inside pubs, and we wouldn't have had masses of people congregating on the streets. So they've shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, by the way, I think a lot of people are saying it's down to the license, the casino license, that you need a different kind of license for a casino. But that's one.
It is. It's a very different type of license, yeah.
But again, it's one of those anomalies of the whole lockdown thing where, certain things are allowed to be open and others aren't, and it just makes no sense. Thank you very much for your call, Niamh. Mick is on the other line. I'll come to him in a second. Let me play a couple of your WhatsApp voice notes. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number there. You can see it on the screen if you're watching on Facebook. 085 825 2626. And now Adam is from Manchester, where of course this is one of the cities in the UK that has been hit badly with the Delta variant.
Hi Jeremy, yeah, I'm living in Manchester, and the Delta variant is spiking up, and it is going through certain communities quite quickly, but it's happening in the young people and the people that don't want the jabs, and hospital rates are still low, death rates still low, and it does seem to be the people who just don't want the jab. So I feel it's up to them. If they don't want to have the jab, then if they get sick, then it's their own fault. Everything else is pretty much opened over here. The only things that aren't open yet are nightclubs and stuff that were due to open last week, which will probably be open in 4 weeks' time. But I said it is spreading over here, but it's among the kind of the ethnic groups and the young people. But I said they don't want the jab, so for me, it's up to them. Everyone else can't wait for them to make up their minds. Thanks.
Thanks for that message. What a great message, Adam, who is in Manchester. Yeah, I was reading earlier on today that in their local newspapers in Manchester that the Delta variant is out of control in many schools in Manchester, with thousands of pupils isolating and having to go home. and that is in Greater Manchester. Here's the thing about people who don't want the vaccine. Nobody should be shamed for not wanting to take the vaccine. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that is your own business. I'm not here to shame you. It's your body, your choice. And, you know, we can't really blame everything on people who are not getting the vaccine. Mick, how are you?
Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning. Now, what do you want to say about this? Reopening on the 5th of July, yes or
Hell
no?
yeah, definitely. It should never have been closed in the first place. But like I say, we should actually be learning to live with it from the start. Like, pubs should have been open, restaurants should have been open, schools, gyms, shops, everything.
But sure, we did that in December, and look what happened in January. So, you know...
Yeah, I personally think it's down to certain media outlets spreading fear porn onto people as well, scaring people.
Well, hang on, Mick. It's not media outlets aren't spreading COVID now. We're not spreading the Delta variant.
I'm talking about fear porn, scaremongering people.
Why, who's scaremongering people?
Like Dublin Live and all that. They're coming out of all these silly stories and all that, like... And then people are falling for it.
Well, no, they report, all the media outlets report factual advice. And if you, well, hang on, you could say the same about the other side, Mick. You could say the same about the anti-vaxxers and the anti-lockdown people who, you know, who've been spreading ridiculous rumours. And I'm not even going to name some of the people. We all know who they are. These people spreading fear into people, saying that if you get the vaccine, X, Y, and Z will happen to you, and that, you know, you can pick up stuff by standing beside someone who's had the vaccine. So I would agree with you that fear is being spread, but fear is being spread on both sides of the fence.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. At the end of the day, we have to learn to live with COVID, not just staying at home, being locked down, being scared or anything like that. Now, I know a few people. Now, you take Florida, for instance, there. 100% reopening. No social distancing, no masks, no nothing. It's back to normal. And they have one of the lowest cases of COVID in America right now. It's the same as Texas.
Yeah, but hang on. Florida had over 30... Let's just put this in perspective. Florida had over 37,000 COVID deaths as well. So, you know, they had... But yeah, I agree with you. I saw a photograph in one of the theme parks the other day, and it was as normal. Everybody was walking around the theme parks. But I don't know if America is a good example to use. Oh, in fact, Mick is gone. So let me go back to some of your WhatsApp voice notes. 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Mick was on there saying that everything should be reopened. He thinks we do not need to delay the reopening on the 5th of July. Here's Stephen, who's also not happy.
I personally think our government is a joke. Myself and my wife wants to go to Germany to see her family. She hasn't seen it almost 2 years now. And we are trying our very best to get over there in about 3 weeks' time. And we're still waiting for our second vaccine. And HSE is basically saying that it could be a bit of a delay on our vaccine. And they're saying that we need to have the vaccine at least a week in our system before we fly to Germany. So it's not kind of leaving us much room. And we're going to be devastated now if we have to cancel Germany a third time. I just think it's an absolute joke. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah, Stephen, I agree with you. I think if the planned reopening does not happen on the 5th of July, I think there will be, I think people are just they're going to go mad. They're so fed up. I think this is a different Stephen.
Yeah, of course it should open. You know, this Delta variant, they're saying it's like 10 times stronger than the original. And the original showed people in China dropping dead. So if there really is a Delta variant that's out there that's so scary, why is all the other countries that don't bend down and take the rules like us so much, why are they all cracking on having a good time? There needs to be big questions asked about this country, and everything needs to open up, because if these pubs and all just bend down and take all these rules again, I have no sympathy for them, and they'll go out of business eventually and don't come crying to us, because all they have to do is open their doors and the people will come. Because I've had it up to, I've a pain in my gee with it all now, to be honest. I tried to get into the gym yesterday and to go for a swim and the gym, and you can only do one or the other. Why is that? Why is everyone still walking around scared, looking at you, hiding behind masks? We all need to get on with things and stop this Delta Alpha Whiskey Bravo variant crack.
Stephen, you can't just diss the Delta variant. By the way, it's 60%. I think it's 60% more transmissible than the previous strain of COVID. I don't understand what happened in the gym you were in yesterday, why you're only allowed to use either the pool or the gym. I assumed that swimming pools in gyms were back open and that you could use both. Let me go to one last call on that, and that is Dave. How are you, Dave?
What's the crack?
Graham, what do you want to say about this?
I just think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, to be honest. Like, hospitalizations are going down, ICU numbers are going down. We've the best uptake of vaccination taking in Europe, and yes, the powers that be in EFA think it's a great idea to shut us down again.
Well, they haven't said that yet. They haven't said that yet.
Oh, come on.
Hang on. They're going to advise the government next week on it. Now, as I said, if I'm a betting man, I would say they will throw caution to the wind and say, let's delay it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and this shower of chicken shit that we have in charge will take their advice, because when everybody's looking for blood when all this is over, they're just going to pass the buck and say, oh, well, we were just following EFA's advice.
Okay, but hang on. At two stages I can think of, one of them being before Christmas, there are two stages through this whole thing. The government went against the advice of NPHET, and one of those times was at Christmas when the government allowed us to have the Christmas that we wanted to have, and we all had a great Christmas, and we lost many, many lives because of that. So the government don't always take the advice of NPHET.
Jeremy, they took NPHET's advice. No, they went against NPHET's advice at Christmas because they knew if we didn't have a semi-normal Christmas this year, it would have been political suicide for them.
Oh, and it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, and I understand, obviously, they want to do a good job. But first and foremost, the guys in charge are just more self-serving. I mean, look at Leo. He talks out both sides of his mouth on a good day. Is this going to happen every winter now? Oh, COVID cases are going up. Like, COVID is here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
That's why we have vaccinations. I mean, we can just add it to the list of stuff that we have, like chickenpox, measles, the flu, your common cold. It's probably going to become a seasonal thing. We're going to have to learn to live with it. And we're not learning to live with it.
Well,
this Delta variant, this Delta variant is more transmissible.
Yes, 60%.
But does it have a higher mortality rate?
That we don't know yet. We don't have any real life figures, I think to hand. Certainly not in Ireland, we don't. So we don't know if it does have a higher mortality rate.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the vaccine, I would imagine, is still fairly good with the Delta variant. I mean, for God's sake, viruses by their very nature mutate. It happens. It's what they do. It's how they spread. It's how they, it's why we need a different flu vaccine every single year. But shutting the country down again, it's easy for a guy who's on a couple $100,000 a year to say maybe we should take things slow. I mean, anyone who's on PUP payment that goes on to one this year has to pay all that back to the revenue next January.
I know.
How are you going to have that money to pay it back?
Yeah.
How many people are in arrears with their mortgages? I mean, politicians still have their expense accounts. I mean, a lot of them were looking for second allowances for working from home to buy equipment for themselves. It's just another fine example of we're getting shafted and we're going to have to pay the bill.
Okay, so come the 5th of July, let me give you a scenario here. So next week, the government meets with NPHET, yeah? And NPHET say, listen, lads, Delta variant is here in Ireland. We know we have Delta variant cases in Ireland. It's here, and we don't know how this is going to pan out over the next couple of weeks. Our health advice is to wait until the end of July to reopen indoor dining and drinking. So that's the advice, hypothetically, that NPHET give to the government. What do you think the government's response should be?
We'll take her advice on board, but we're going to stay going ahead. There are countries out there with higher populations than ours, and less of a vaccine uptake.
Okay, and sorry, hang on, Dave. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So the government turn around to NPHET and they say, thanks for your advice, but we're going to reopen indoor dining anyway. And they reopen indoor dining on the 5th of July, which I want to see happen. And I want to be able to go and sit down and have a meal in my favourite restaurant. So they open everything. And God forbid we're back to January again. who's the first the first place you're going to point the finger? No, but everybody pointed the finger at the government in January. You shouldn't have given us the Christmas we wanted. People wanted that Christmas. People wanted to be able to go into 5 different households on Christmas Day. They wanted to be able to share turkey with their mothers and their grannies. They wanted the Christmas that they got, and look what happened. And the first people that they pointed the finger to and blamed was the government. The government shouldn't have opened for Christmas. The government didn't force you to go to your grannies on Christmas Day. The government didn't force you to have 20 people over for a house party on New Year's Eve. So that's what the government are afraid of. They'll be the fall guys for this.
Right. That's fair enough, right? Last summer we had indoor dining, okay? How many cases have been attributed to people going to restaurants?
I agree.
It was a negligible amount. So it's something, I think the figure was something like 0.005%. And what will happen then is, if we don't bring back the indoor dining and stuff like that, right? So say, we'll leave off the wet pubs until the end of the month. That's something I could live with, okay? But say we don't bring back indoor dining and a few other little bits and bobs. And now, to be fair, I've been up and down the country the last couple of weeks, and a lot of places, especially in rural Ireland, seem like they're just open for business anyway. But what will happen then is, you'll have places like what you've had in South William Street in Temple Bar in Dublin. People are just going to get pissed off. They're going to stay doing that. And then you're going to have, more crap of, like we keep seeing, with people drinking on the streets and antisocial behaviour. Like, at least if you get people into a controlled setting, you can kind of corral them to a certain extent.
I agree with you. I think the restaurants and pubs, restaurants in particular, were treated so badly that the blame was put on them for something that they were not responsible for. There weren't huge spreads of COVID in restaurants. That was proven. And
community transmission was the biggest cause of what happened at Christmas time, because people were visiting each other.
Yeah, and any time I went to a restaurant during the month of December, and I went to a good few restaurants because I knew it was coming to an end come January. Anytime I went to a restaurant, I always felt safe. The tables were spaced apart. The waiter or waitress was wearing a face covering. Everything was as safe as a house. A lot safer than the local supermarkets, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and now we also have vaccines as well to bolster all of that. So I'm sorry, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but eventually we're going to have to take the plunge. We're going to have to. We can't keep living like this. How many hundreds of billions of euro are we on the hook for? And do you think the EU are going to be, don't worry about it, lads, pay us back whenever? We're going to end up having to pay for that. Like, I work in the steel industry, and at the moment, the steel industry is on its knees. And if that goes tits up, that has a knock-on effect for the agriculture industry. And if agriculture goes screwed in this country, we're all up shit creek.
Yep, I agree with you. Thanks very much, Dave. Dave is annoyed and worried, and you can't blame him. And I do feel that the restaurants were used as a scapegoat the last time. Okay, a couple of voice notes to finish off it. Here's Ken. Hey, Ken.
Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a joke as well, to be honest, the government. And yeah, I agree with the majority of the listeners here, because, and if you think that it's going to be pushed back from the 5th of July, it really is an absolute joke. We're all fed up here, And if you look at the UK, and I know, a lot of people in defence are saying, because they have the vaccine and they made the vaccines themselves in universities like Cambridge and Oxford, but the lack of vaccines here in this country, I think, is a joke. And the fact that we're still on the 30 age band, it just shows, it highlights the problem here. The government are a joke, and yeah, I don't think it's good that we're still waiting to get vaccines. I'm 22 and I'm going away in August, and I remember, I think Leo Varadkar was saying at the end of June the majority of the population will be vaccinated, and here I am, I'm still waiting, and I have to go away in August and I still haven't got my jab, and I think it's a bit of a disgrace, and they really need to wake the hell up, because people are going to start doing all the things. We saw this a few weeks ago when everyone was gathering in town and on the canals and on the docks drinking, and this is going to keep happening. If it's almost like the whole population's on strike, and it's a joke.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, you are in the 20s plus cohort. I think you said you were 20 something, and you want to go away on holidays this year, and you shouldn't be stopped. You've made enough sacrifices over the past 2 years, and you want to live your life when you're in your 20s. You should go away on holidays. I you say you're going away in August, you may not be vaccinated by August. But I think, in fairness to the government, and I will say this to them and to the HSE, the vaccination programme is absolutely brilliant. They've really caught up with themselves. You know, when I got my first jab a few weeks ago out in City West, it was done brilliantly. I don't know if you will be vaccinated when it comes around to your holiday date, but the best of luck. One final one from Cher.
Jeremy, I don't think the government are ever going to win no matter what they do. If they open up and people start dropping dead and family members all in hospital dead, they're going to be the worst in the world no matter what. At the end of the day, they get the last say. We all have to just suck it up and go with what they say. I do agree it should be open, but I think we all need to just suck it up, get on with it as best we can.
Yeah, Cher, that was the point that I was making. And I remember, just after coming back to me now, that, and you all remember what happened in January in Ireland. It was a bleak month where the case numbers were just, and you were looking at the graph and seeing the graph going up into the thousands. And I remember the amount of people on Twitter that I knew personally who were giving out about the government, that the government should not have reopened the country in December. You should have kept things locked down. These same people, I know for a fact, were putting up stories on Instagram all over the Christmas, having parties, up dancing in the house on Christmas Eve, on Christmas Day, and going to house parties on New Year's Eve. You didn't have to go to those parties. But as soon as the figures went through the roof, and as soon as COVID took hold of the country again, the first people that you turned to blame was the government. And that will happen again. I can guarantee you that if the government does reopen indoor dining, which I believe they should, by the way, but if they do, and this Delta variant takes hold of us, and those figures start going up again, and hospital admissions start going up, the first finger will be pointed at the government because they didn't take medical advice. And let me read out a couple more of your messages from Facebook. Jackie says, Jeremy, I can't wait to go to my favourite restaurant when it reopens. It's been so long, I've been waiting. Oren says, open up everything as normal. We have to learn to live with the virus now. It's never going to go away. Barry says, yes, open the restaurants. I'm dying for a sit-down meal. Actually, Kate, and I'll ask our listeners this very quickly in a moment. In fact, I'll ask them now and then I'll ask you in a second, Katie. And it's a simple question. And I just want you to send me, and you know what I'll do? I'll give one of our lucky callers a €25 Just Eat voucher. How would you like a Just Eat voucher for 25 quid? Simply send me, to be in the draw, simply send me a WhatsApp voice note now. What restaurant can you not wait to reopen so you can have a meal indoors? Because unfortunately, my favourite restaurant, which is Siam Thai in Dundrum, doesn't have outdoor seating, so they haven't been able to serve. Their restaurant in Malahide does, which I'm planning to go out to, I think, this weekend, but I can't sit indoors for a meal. So I can't wait for Siam Thai in Malahide to open so I can sit in and have a meal. So simply finish that on WhatsApp voice note. I can't wait for blank restaurant to reopen so I can have a meal. Just want to find out where your favourite restaurants are in Dublin and how looking forward you are to having those restaurants open. Katie, what's your favourite restaurant? Joelle's, is it?
No, not Joelle's.
That's one of mine. Yeah.
No, not for me. Gin Palace on Abbey Street or Merchant's Quay, Temple Bar.
Sorry, what's the first one called? Gin Palace?
The Gin Palace. Gin, everywhere.
Sorry, is it a restaurant?
Yes.
Well, it just serves gin.
Yeah, well, it's a restaurant that serves a lot of gin. Any type of gin you want.
What type of restaurant is it? Like, what's on the menu?
I actually can't remember because most of the time I'm in there, I'm ordering gin. You can kind of get anything. It's not a fancy restaurant, but it's a nice little spot.
I'm going to look it up now. So
it's
gin,
a great spot.
Gin restaurant.
The Gin Palace on Abbey Street.
Okay, never heard of it before. How come you never told me about this?
You don't drink gin.
Yeah, but I eat a lot of food, as you can tell. Oh my God, there we go. Ginpalace.ie, the finest gin bar and restaurant.
Oh my God.
Wow, okay.
If you like gin, it's,
Okay, and where's the other restaurant?
Merchant's Arch, Temple Bar.
Merchant's Arch and Temple Bar. Okay, thanks very much, Katie. Katie's going to the Gin Palace. I want to hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp voice note only. WhatsApp voice note only to 085 825 2626. I can't wait for blank restaurant to open. Send it in to us now. Let me just have a look at the menu for Gin Palace. They better give us a free meal for this advertising. Hello.
I want to go there now.
Okay, calm down, Katie. Gin Palace. Looks lovely inside, I have to say. And let me just have a look at their menu while you are sending in the voice notes. Oh, I like somewhere that does sweet potato fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet potato fries.
Covered in gin.
No, they're not. Stop giving out false information. That's actually a really nice... Okay, that's on my list. Gin Palace on... What street did you say?
Abbey Street.
Abbey Street. Thanks very much. So keep those voice notes coming in. What restaurant do you want to see yourself sitting down in, hopefully on the 5th of July? Here is... I don't know who this is, actually. Sorry, who is it? Doesn't matter. Here, have a listen.
Hi, Jeremy. I can't wait for Cinnamon Garden in Ashburn to open up. That is a fab restaurant.
Cinema Garden in Ashburn, says that person. Make sure you put your name on the end of the WhatsApp voice note as well, so we know who you are. Cinnamon Garden.
Looking forward to going for a meal in Keely's.
Keely's. By the way, and as well, tell me as well where these restaurants are. I know you know where they are because they're your local restaurants, but the rest of us won't. This person...
Jeremy, I can't wait for the Jazz in Coolock Village to open. I used to love my nights out away from the kids for a couple of hours, and it's been so long now since I've been able to do that.
What's the name of that place? Hang on a sec.
Jeremy, I can't wait for the Jazz in Coolock.
What's she saying? The Jazz?
Java, I think.
Java?
I think that's what she said.
Yeah, there's hardly a restaurant called Jazz, is there? Yeah, it must be Java. The next one.
It's got to be Weatherspoons for me. A good cheap beer.
Yeah, last of the big
Food
spenders
is pretty
there.
Cool. And the one in Dunleary is the one I would love to open again. Can't wait for it. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Weatherspoons as well. Cheap and cheerful. Great food as well, by the way. And I go to that one in Dunleary, the 40 Foot as well. Yeah. Oh my God, so many restaurants we have to go to. Here's another one.
Joel's all the way.
Yes, a man after my own heart. Huge fan of Joel's. It's my second favourite restaurant in Dublin, of course, on the Naas Road. Because you can get, you know what you can get on the dessert menu in Joel's, Katie?
What can you get?
It's going to blow your bloody mind. You can get Knickerbocker Glory.
Is that what does it for you? I thought it was the palm trees.
They got rid of the palm trees.
Oh, did they?
The
Okay.
palm trees are gone. Don't mention the palm trees. My wife sent in a letter of complaint and got rid of the palm trees. I don't know if she did. But they have Knickerbocker Glory.
Yeah, I haven't had one of those in years. Would you be able to finish one?
Oh, try me, hon. Try me. Yeah, okay, that's Joel's or Joel's. Now, what's this one?
Joel.
There, okay, we have you.
Toscana, Dame Street, great spot.
Toscana and Dame Street. I haven't tried that yet. Okay, keep them coming in. WhatsApp us 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. We're asking you, what restaurants can you not wait to sit inside and be waited on hand and foot? Here's another one.
Jeremy, can't wait for Maximilian's in Blanchardstown. Great Italian restaurant. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, cheers. Bye. I love a good Italian restaurant, I have to say. I really do. The next one?
Jeremy, I'm looking forward to going to Eddie Rockets with the family because when we go there, it's the food that the whole family loves. And my son was going there and he give him the pictures to draw and gets to have his onion rings and whatever.
Get a frisbee as well.
The thing about it is I have a 2-year-old boy and he's basically a COVID kid. He's never eaten out and he's never done these things. And Sam is sat in with his brother and had food and basically enjoyed himself. So I have to say, we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've a COVID kid as well. And in fact, you do as well, Katie.
I do. I have two COVID babies.
You've one COVID kid. Relax.
I have two.
You've one COVID kid.
2 under 2. I have 2 COVID kids.
Okay, but your son, Tide, your eldest, has eaten in restaurants.
Yeah, but we only got a couple of months before everything was shut down.
Yeah, my daughter's never been in a restaurant, never been on an airplane. I'm terrified.
No, do you know, we brought him to an outdoor dining last week and it was a disaster. Like, these COVID babies have no idea how to actually behave in a public setting for eating. It's scary.
It's absolutely terrifying. Let's have a listen to a couple more. If you want to get them in very quickly, WhatsApp us 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. We want to hear from you simply. What restaurant can you not wait to open up? Now, who's this?
Jeremy.
Oh, that's Eddie Rockets, man. Yeah, next one.
How's it going, Jeremy? I must agree there with Katie. Gin Palace is probably one of the best places there to go for food and a couple of gins. Thanks again there, Tom.
I'm looking at the menu here, and again, I don't want this to be an ad for Gin Palace. Free meal. But any restaurant that has an all-day breakfast as the main course, all-day breakfast, sausages, bacon, eggs, oh Jesus, I'd love to be sitting in there. This restaurant, it's like they asked me what to put on the menu, because all the stuff they have on their menu is stuff I like lasagna. Oh my God, it's just, I'm actually, can I be honest here? I'm getting aroused.
Yeah.
I'm getting aroused.
If that excites you, look at the actual menu for gin.
Gin Schmidt.
No,
Jim Schmidt. No, I'm getting aroused here. Have we any more left? Let me see. WhatsApp 085 825 2626. Kevin is saying that Cinnamon has an outdoor dining space. I did not know that. It's called Jazz, says Sandra. It is a Chinese restaurant. Okay, thank you very much for that. Is this one final one here? Yeah, okay, let's have a listen.
Arcadia in Tala or the Paddocks in Cluny. They are both savage. If you don't know them, check them out, definitely.
I know the Paddocks in Cluny.
Hey, Jeremy and Katie.
Hi.
I can't wait to get back to the Kiltipper up in Tala, which will be near me. The food is to die for, and the desserts, oh my God, they're just gorgeous. And also Captain America's out in Blanchardstown. Chicken wings to die for. Cheers, Adrian and Tala.
I had no idea that there was more than one Captain America's. There's obviously Captain America's on Grafton Street. That's the one I go to. I didn't know there was one out in Blanchardstown as well. Love an L Captain America's as well. Anyway,